Good afternoon. This is the great KBC, and thank you indeed for joining us. Let's have a look at the news making headlines in the country and beyond at this hour. My name is Njue, and Byron Abuli will be our sign language interpreter for this live newscast. Of course, we can interact on all social media platforms as we are live. We begin in the capital Nairobi, where a section of Nairobi County Assembly ward representatives have come to the defense of Governor Johnson Sakaja amidst criticism for allegedly delaying the implementation of the recently launched school feeding program dubbed Dishi na County. The MCA say the verbal attacks on the governor are politically instigated, challenging his alleged political detractors to wait for the next election and give him time to deliver on his pre-election pledges to Nairobi residents. Critics of the Dishi na County feeding program, launched in August, argue it has not been beneficial to learners within Nairobi.
The detractors want the governor to fail for them to succeed. One of the major game changers they want to fail is the Dishi na County school feeding program that is ensuring 250,000 children across the city receive ample and nutritious meals every school day. The cartels are aware that the Dishi na County has transformed how schools operate, eased the burden on thousands of parents, and is without a doubt changing the dynamics of the politics of the county. They are hell-bent on stopping it by any means necessary. Luckily, the parents of Nairobi and millions of right-thinking Kenyans know how beneficial this program is.
Gavana wetu Sakaja tunataka kwanza apewe kazi, muda ya kufanya kazi. Baada ya miaka kama 2.5 ndio watu waweze kumhukumu na kuweza kupima ratiba ya kwamba kama amefanya kazi ama hajafanya.
Sisi tuko na Gavana Sakaja na tuko tayari kumsupport. Na wacha kila mtu ajue ya kwamba Nairobi saa hii hakuna wajinga. Chakula yenye inakuja kwa mashule imekuja kutengeneza kazi, employment. Kuna watu wataanza kupika katika hizo shule, security ya hizo shule.
It's rather unfortunate that people who purport to be leaders can go to these extremes of joking with the lives of our children, the children that we represent or we say that we are representing.
Let's now shift gears to matter security, where traders in Busibwabo Market in Matayos, Busia County are decrying increasing cases of insecurity in the area. The traders who stormed the chief's office claim a gang of thieves raided and stole goods from more than 10 shops in the market. According to the residents, the gang of thieves broke into their shops using metal bars and stole property, leaving one person injured. The residents say this is the 5th incident the thieves have struck in the past 1 month, calling on police to beef up security, increase patrols within the market, and arrest the culprits.
Tunalia maduka 10 imeibiwa leo na si mara ya kwanza wanaiba na kwa zinaenda ruti kama Nasra huko na huko ndo Omwami anatoka. Sasa tunataka watusaidie kama kiongozi wetu wa Busia County aingilie kati atusaidie. Tunaumia sana.
Hiyo ndio inanipea kila kitu hapo. Watoto wangu wanapata msaada kutoka kwa hiyo duka. Mara hii penye nimefika mwisho. Mtoto hata inaweza fika shilingi 1,200 kwa wakati huu.
Au ukienda kama bodas tayari tunabeba watu. Sisi vile tunabeba watu hatujui tumebeba nani. Tunabeba watu wanaenda wanatugonga manyundo. Vijana tunaumia. Saa hizi anko yangu tayari pikipiki yake ameibiwa, yeye mwenyewe amepigwa pale kwa duka. Tutafanya nini Busibabu? Waende. Kama hakuna usalama Busibabu, maskari wenye wako Busibabu wote waende na serikali ituletee askari wengine. Kwa sababu hapa hakuna kitu wenye wanatusaidia.
Elsewhere, the government has pledged to build public trust and prioritize data safety as it unveils the digital identification cards. Principal Secretary for Immigration and Citizen Services Julius Bitok, speaking at a meeting with stakeholders, among them civil society, said the government will ensure the process of inclusive and transparent.
This has been a journey which the country has worked for some time now. There has been quite a number of attempts to implement a national digital ID. But this time around, we are saying we are not going to go alone as government. We want all the stakeholders, all the partners, including the civil society, including the religious groups, including the private sector. We are saying we all have to come together to be able to implement this very important national digital identity project.
We've talked a lot about public participation. Public participation is an opportunity for people to understand the opportunities of this system. And that's why it is important that we go to the ground. We come out of the hotels and we actually go to places where Kenyans have yet to understand the power of this technology and also the power of their own digital identity.
Elsewhere, residents of Kajiado County have been urged to seek medical services from public health facilities. Kajiado County Executive Committee member for Health Services Alex Kilowo says services in public health facilities in the county have improved tremendously. Meanwhile, Kajiado Sub-County Hospital has put on notice measures to curb theft of medical equipment and cases of patients sneaking out of the facility to avoid paying their bills.
The services being rendered in our sub-county hospital. If you see data on matters maternity, this is a hospital that hardly do 500 skill delivery in a month, and that is a good indication that the services are good.
Nimeshukuru sana kwa hii mikakati ya ukuta. Tulikuwa na wagonjwa wanatoroka, hata unapata wajambazi saa zingine wanakimbia kama wanafukuzwa, unawapata tu kwa ward, wamekuja kujificha kwa ward. Sasa hiyo hatuna sasa kwa sababu ya hii fence.
Journalists from Meru County are calling on security agencies and the Media Council of Kenya to investigate and prosecute individuals responsible for attacking journalists in the county. This follows an incident on Sunday where some journalists were assaulted and their equipment destroyed in Maua area, allegedly by Meru County officials during a public function attended by Governor Kawira Mwangaza. The Meru Press Club chairman, David Mushui, warned the safety of journalists in the county was not guaranteed, as this was the second incident in a span of 1 year. They are calling for action to ensure the perpetrators are arrested and prosecuted.
Ni jambo ambalo limefanyika mara ya pili mwaka huu, na hatua haijaweza kuchukuliwa hata kwa ile jambo ambalo lilifanyika siku ya mwaka huu kule Mojo. Tunaomba serikali, vyombo vya serikali, Media Council, polisi wafanye uchunguzi wa kutosha, na wale ambao wamehusika katika kupiga wanahabari wakiwa kazini mwao wachukulie hatua ya haraka iwezekanavyo.
Press freedom! Press freedom!
And in other news, residents of Markada village in Nyatike sub-county are up in arms over a decision by the government to designate more than 6,000 hectares of their communal land as forest reserve. The disputed territory is home to 17 educational institutions, including Markada Youth Polytechnic and Araonga University campus, as well as 3 hospitals. There are also offices for national government administrators and several international non-governmental organizations. The Gazette notice issued by the Environment and Forest Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya, dated June the 13th, has raised fears among residents that they will be forced to leave what they claim to be their ancestral territory.
Place has never been registered. They are taking advantage of this land being not registered to anyone, ignoring that even some people were living there, to take that advantage to come here.
Waforest wamekuja wamesema ati hii ni shamba yao, na kuna wandugu zangu na wamama zangu wamesaa siku hapa kwa shamba hii. Sasa mimi nimebaki na wandugu zangu na wajikuu ya baba sangu. Sasa nitapeleka watu wapi?
Hapo na wananchi pia ilikuwa huko mwaka huu mpaka leo. Wengi wao ambao wako sasa unaona hapa ni watoto wadogo, sio wachanga. Wale ambao waliingia hapo walikufa wote. Baba zao, nyanya zao walikufa, wamebakia hapa. Sasa ukikuja hapa unasema kwamba wanataka kuondoka, wanaenda wapi?
I will take this to the plenary, to the County Assembly of Migori, and also I think the area women and area MP will do 1, 2, 3. Then thereafter we'll move to court to stop all the process. If they want all the area to be a forest area, let them come and do public participation to with the community. They get what the community is saying.
And still on land matters, the founder of Thika-based Lesedi Developers, a real estate company, Geoffrey Kirago, was today arraigned in court to answer to charges relating to fraud. Kirago was charged with 12 counts of obtaining money from Lesedi company clients on diverse dates by false pretense. Appearing before resident magistrate Oscar Wanyaga, the accused, who has been under police custody since September 12, 2023, failed to secure his release despite his lawyers appealing to the court to have their client freed on bail terms.
I'll give further directions on Thursday at 9 a.m. I need to verify whatever you're telling me. I'll give directions or set board terms on 21st of September at 9 a.m.
Very well, from land matters, let's now cross over to the National Assembly, where the Public Investment Committee on Governance and Education is holding a meeting with the Attorney General because of a number of issues raised. Let's first of all listen in. Feed, we will be crossing over to the National Assembly, but away from that, members of the Orange Democratic Movement Party in Kilifi County have urged the party unity in the county. They have called on Governor Gideon Mung'aro to unite leaders elected on the party ticket and bring to an end the undermining of fellow leaders, saying infighting will only add undue advantage to their competitors. This is after a section of MCAs in the county accused the second woman member of the National Assembly, Gertrude Mbevu, and Malindi Member of Parliament, Amina Mnyanzi, of undermining Mung'aro's administration.
Wakati unapatia hawa watu wa kuku chini kama magavana, wabunge majukumu ya kuangalia hizo nomination, ni ujue kwamba kuna watu wako katika grassroots kule wanakufanyia kampeni kila wakati. Si mtu anahama kutoka chama hiki akija anapewa majukumu yote anayafanya. Kama ni mambo ya nomination, yeye ndiye anatoa hiyo uamuzi wa kuchagua. Anachagua watu wake ambao si wana ODM. Hapa Kilifi imekuwa ni mwawanyiko wa kisiasa. Na hii kitu lazima gavana akae chini akitafakari vizuri. Manake saa hii imeanza kuwa ni mambo ya kuchimbana viongozi. Utasikia kiongozi huyu anapiga huyu, kiongozi huyu anapiga huyu. Sisi tunataka gavana wa Kilifi uunganishe viongozi.
Kwa hivyo mimi nikaomba gavana, watu wako ambao unaandamana nao watafanya sisi tuweke dosari kwako.
From Kilifi to Garissa, where leaders and administrators in the county are challenging security agencies in the county to crack the whip on persons propagating female genital mutilation (FGM), led by Area Deputy Governor Abdi Dagane. The leaders, in acknowledging the progress in the war against the retrogressive practice, called for stringent measures to eradicate the harmful practice. The remarks were made during the celebrations of the International Day of the Girl Child at Iftin Girls Secondary School in Garissa.
Neno kama wasichana wetu hapo walituambia kukeketa ni mambo ya ndwele, si ndio? Tunayatupilia mbali, si ndio? And I've just instructed my county attorney to draft the anti-FGM bill so that it comes to our executive and we pass it and we send it to the assembly.
We are going to take stern action on any person who will be involved in FGM activities.
In the spirit of intergenerational dialogue, we are also here as women leaders, professionals, mothers, opinion shapers, and role models to demonstrate to you that despite the challenges which we face as girls, we came out stronger.
To the International Deaf Week now, where police in Juja, we'll bring that a little bit later, where police in Juja, Kiambu County, have confiscated illicit liquor and other counterfeit items valued at over 1 million shillings being manufactured and stored at an illegal distillery plant. Kiambu Police County Commander Paminas Kioi says the operation was made successful thanks to a tip-off from members of the public. He, however, challenged the government, chemist and the Kenya Revenue Authority to release reports of samples of liquor nabbed 2 months in for crackdowns by security agencies in Kiambu County.
Tunafaa control licensing easy brands from the central government. I'm sorry. We should be in charge of what we are licensing and do not deprecate this business so much in terms of you get a gin has 1 million brands in the market. So the government should know what it has and control.
Na tumeweza kupata hiyo vinywaji kama vile mnaona ni aina mbalimbali. Tuko na aina ya Starling, tuko na nyingine inaitwa Chrome Vodka na tuko na nyingine kwa carton ambaye ni 271 na yote value yake ni 1987 na 200. Kwa sababu hii pombe inasafirishwa na magari kubwa kubwa. Wakiona magari inaingia ikitoka, wanjiadhari wanjiulize nini inaendelea hapo, alafu watupase habari, na tukipata habari mara moja sisi tunakuja na kukamata.
Let's now revisit our earlier story where the Public Investment Committee on Governance and Education is holding a meeting with the Attorney General, and as we speak, the Attorney General Justin Bidan Muturi is currently addressing. Let's first of all cross over.
You're given an opportunity, you try to sort of lead by example. What really bothers me is the two have worked together for many years. They're supposed to be examples of leadership in this republic. But if I hear words like the students have become refugees, and these are people who've, that chemistry of working together for many years, learned Kenyans. But you're not in a position to agree on a few issues. An example, the institution is put up for the benefit of Kenyans and Kenyan doctors for this matter, to ensure that, we have sufficient of them to look care of our population health-wise. What exactly, how was your working relationship then, and what really changed your working relationship? If we can come and bring this particular committee, even pulling the AG from his office, because to me here, I see a difference in personalities, which at some point there must have been something that happened which we don't know. Because you, Professor Inaina, you are the deputy to Professor Mugendi. And in that matter, handling administration and finance. And if I'm not wrong, I don't know if you joined together or one of you recommended the other one. I really don't know. What is the problem? And I think members, Chair, we need to use this as a case study so that in the future, we establish that if you are given an opportunity to serve this republic, you use that position in the correct way, you respect the rules knowing that tomorrow you'll be out of that institution and you'll not have to be called back to explain the things that are actually, pure leadership or, personality skills, sort of emotional intelligence. Because what I am saying is just two persons differing, not on principle, but from other parochial reasons, you know, you're supposed to have sat together. I mean, it's not of, okay, from the hospital.
Honorable Kakai, you know, what's the question, please?
Yeah, so the question is this. Professor Wainaina, have you made some efforts to sit down with Professor Mugendi, who you worked together many years, to have a simple solution, even if it's an MOU or whatever document, to ensure that the two facilities sort of coexist and support the objective? Thank you, Chair.
Just note that, Professor.
Chair.
We would like to know at the... Okay, Mheshimiwa Bonai.
Thank you, Chair. Just to add to what my colleague mentioned, Professor Mugenda and Professor Wainaina, you are colleagues. And I've interacted with both of you when I was CAS Education. And I'm looking at KU Hospital as a dream you both shared and continue to share to date. Are we into this tussle because you stopped sharing that dream? Or is it because you have differences at personal level? Now we are all into this situation. Just make it simple for us, because if a facility was, you know, came into being to serve the students there, then that should remain. That dream should remain. So whatever the legal framework that has changed into, you know, making KU another institution, the dream, the primary dream of serving these students shouldn't change. So why are we here? Why are we talking about this? Who changed the dream? Did you stop sharing it? That vision.
Thank you. Saying an honorable member who is not a member of this committee, but I want to assume she's a friend to the committee. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Zulekha Harun, nominated member and a friend of the committee, PIC.
Thank you. Now, what was the of KUTRH? Honorable, the Professor Olive, and what is the qualification of the current CEO, and what is the legal provision for the qualification of the same? We can start with the VC. You comment on what honorable members have talked about. Are we here just because you and the two professors cannot work together, cannot agree?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and other members. I think the issue is that, to be very brief, I joined or rejoined KU in 2005, and we have been working closely, even in the issue of the hospital, even the dream, trying to implement the dream. But members, what happened is that when this order actually came, I was surprised. I didn't know anything about it. And what happened after that is that we, as management, were requested actually to hand over the hospital. The contractors were still on site. They were also asked to hand over. I still recall Mr. Kenywa's letter indicating that they need to hand over. And that is when things actually turned out against Kenyatta University, because now I was in charge of the students. Members, we tried to do everything possible. We knew when we read the order, obviously it recognized Kenyatta University by having the Vice Chancellor as one of the board members. It also recognized the PS Higher Education as a member to be represented, and also a member of council. So, after the shock of losing the hospital, we still thought that it was possible for us to actually work, try to see what we can do as members. But Chair, it became very, very, very difficult. We even came up with some policies that would have...
Professor Paul Waina of the Kenyatta University there, flanked by former professor of the same institution, Olive Mugenda, and the Attorney General. They are responding to the Public Investment Committee on Governance and Education. There are a number of issues they were responding to, but the latest one being the unresolved matter audit queries related to the Kenyatta University stalled projects, as well as the management of the Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital. Also, they will be answering to the Kenya School of Law on pending audit queries. Our Bunge team is on that story and will bring us much more in our subsequent bulletin. But moving on, the Kisii County government has pledged to ensure the protection of people with disability. Governor Simba Arati says part of the initiative involves the fight against stigma through awareness creation. The governor was speaking during the distribution of wheelchairs to some members of the vulnerable group.
I take this opportunity to reiterate the need for our people to discard the social stigma associated with disability and avoid hiding person with disability from the public. This will enable us to identify and classify all people who need help.
Moving on, the government has announced plans to deploy air support to areas that are likely to be affected by the expected El Nino rains during the national examination slated for November. Speaking during a meeting with education field officers from Coast Region at Shimolatewa High School in Mombasa, Basic Education Principal Secretary Belio Kipsang said they are working with the government officials, including regional and county commissioners, in mapping out areas to be affected by the rains. At the same time, the PS directed tutors to uphold examination integrity, warning that any case of malpractice will be dealt with as per the law.
That's why we really minimize travel by our children, mainly the candidates. Let's minimize travel, because the more they travel, the more we expose them to so many things, including accidents, including food poisoning, including change in weather, and which may have an impact on their health.
Still on education, 24 students have been cleared to travel to Finland to further education, ending months of acrimony between parents and officials from the Uasin Gishu county government. This comes barely a week after another cohort of 22 students were facilitated to travel to Finland, marking 46 the total number of students who have left the country for further studies. Speaking at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi, the students and parents lauded the efforts by the county government to ensure they realize their dreams despite the delays. The national government was forced to intervene following a public outcry by the parents after their children failed to travel despite paying money to the county government.
So we are very grateful for the parents for still having faith on this, despite of a lot of noise, which to us, the professional, it was not actually very healthy noise. So these students, when they transit, we have the faith they are going to succeed.
I'm pursuing nursing. So the journey has been tough. It has been a journey of patience. And we want to thank God, first and foremost. And then we want to thank the county government. They really tried. They came through despite the school coming up with a lot of challenges. They put in so much effort.
Sisi tukiwa wazazi tuna furaha nyingi sana kwa sababu tumekuwa tukienda county, tunafuata maagizo, tunalipa fee, tunafanya nini yote. Tunashukuru kwa yote ambayo ilifanyika na task force ikiongozwa na engineer Barorot chini ya gavana wetu wa Uasin Gishu. Hata yule mwanzilishi alianza Mandako mwenyewe, tunashukuru kwa sababu alifanya kazi nzuri kwenda huko ikapatikana shule. Kwa hiyo tunasema shukrani.
Nikiona watoto wetu wanaenda nursing, na tunashukuru Mungu ni kwa sababu ubali tumepotoka mbali. Miaka 2 tumekuwa tukinyenyekea, tukiomba Mungu, lakini kwa imani ya Bwana ametuwezesha. Na leo tunawaeka kwa ndege, Mungu amefungua njia.
Kuona dada yangu ameenda nursing na nimefurahia sana. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa jambo tulikuwa tunangojea, na sasa hivi tumeshukuru Mola sana sana. Na tunajua wengine wale wako nyuma baadaye pia au hii ni nafasi mzuri sana na wataendelea pia pamoja.
It's quite a relief for parents and also learners as well. And on that note, we're taking a quick break, but allow me to appreciate Fanon Getobu. You say you're watching all the way from Meru County. On the other side of this break, we still have more news, business, as well as the latest from the Champions League last night.
KBC Channel 1 magazine programs strive to disseminate news and information.
Welcome to Happening in the World of Entertainment
and achievements of individuals navigating through life.
Be part of the intelligent conversation. Papa KBC Channel 1.
Related to the interests of Kenyan public on various subjects of national importance.
Keeping you up to date with the latest tech news,
challenges, and remarkable stories of individuals with disabilities.
And you have a say.
Our magazine programs empower communities with words for conversations and a common language to approach the world.
For your infotainment needs, we have a great range of programs.
But Lord knows that I don't want to be lonely tonight.
They don't know, and I said they don't know. Baba.
She's not here for a night of day. She loves it when the music plays. All the bridges are burned. You're still not showing no love. It's like you're not learning. You have to be a brother's keeper.
Vijana chapakazi wenye nguvu za ziada.
My youth, uko na talent ya kusing, spoken word, kucompose jingles ama any other unexploited artistic talent. Gava through Ministry of Information, Communication and the Digital Economy na KBC sasa wamekam up na project ya kupromote usanii called Studio Mashinani. Hizi ni studios ziko grassroots and they are fitted with high quality state-of-the-art equipment where you can produce quality audio and video music content for free. What's more, wanaoffer mentorship na talanta yako itakuwa promoted on KBC Channel 1 TV, Y254 na radio stations za KBC. Tembelea Studio Mashinani huko Comarox, Langata, Sauti House Mombasa, Kirwara huko Gatanga, Kitui next to Manyanyoni Chiefs Camp na Kisumu City wako hapo KBC station. Usilalie talent. This is your chance to commercialize and popularize your talent through Studio Mashinani.
Welcome back, and much thanks for indeed keeping it KBC Channel 1. Let's do business now. The much delayed bus rapid transit BRT system has received a major boost after Kenya signed an 8.7 billion shillings agreement with the United States Millennium Change Corporation. The funding will go towards financing the acquisition of electric buses for the Thika Road line, also known as Line 2. President William Ruto, who witnessed the funding deal in New York, USA, said the project will help Kenya deal with endemic traffic congestion within the Nairobi metropolitan area.
The government is accelerating the establishment of an integrated, efficient, effective and sustainable public transport system under the Bus Rapid Transit System Master Plan.
Nairobi has 5 million people during the day and 4 million at night. So there's a whole 1 million people who come in and out of Nairobi every day. That poses a very significant challenge on the transport infrastructure.
We see that Nairobi is one of the fastest urbanizing regions, or cities, I should say, city region in the world. Certainly Kenya must have reaped the benefits of a very strong growth rate, but undoubtedly it may have caused some challenges.
The construction of the BRT system has faced major delays due to lack of funds, design approvals, and government bureaucracies.
The mass bus transport system is a very important component. I think already a lot of work has gone into getting the bus lanes already. So this threshold will give us the ability to conclude.
Earlier in 2023, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja and Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen both agreed on the need to end traffic jams in the capital by accelerating the implementation of the 5 BRT lines within the Nairobi metropolis. This meant fast-tracking the stalled bus rapid transit system projects such as the Thika Road Line 2 BRT project, which in August last year, a Chinese company that was building the BRT corridor vacated after financial constraints. 3 billion shillings was required to complete the corridor between Kasarani and Kenyatta National Hospital. The lines are named after Kenya's Big 5 wild animals found in various national parks, namely Line 1 Ndovu, Line 2 Simba, Line 3 Chui, Line 4 Kifaru, and Line 5 Nyati.
We are also working on a rail system around Nairobi. We will be maybe having a conversation with you. I think we have already built about 28 stations out of a possible 36, and there will be a conversation, and we are happy that this threshold is now being rolled out, and it will give us possibilities of what else can we look at to make transportation that much more easy.
According to the Millennium Change Corporation, MCC, Tuesday's signing was after several years of collaboration on the design of projects. The program comprises 4 projects: the Integrated Transport Planning Project, the First and Last Mile Connections Project, the Detailed Land Use Project, and the Blended Finance for Bus Rapid Transit Project.
Where pockets of people may feel disconnected, challenged by the transportation system. So in many ways, that's what this threshold program is all about. It seeks to enhance urban connectivity by strengthening the Nairobi Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, which I think you will call NAMATA, and also the Nairobi City County Government.
The Threshold program seeks to assist Kenya in addressing limited connectivity in urban areas, a critical constraint to inclusive economic growth. Alan Auko, Lunchtime News.
Elsewhere, integration of betting and gaming companies into the Kenya Revenue Authority tax system enabled KRA to collect 15.2 billion shillings in excise duty and withholding tax from 28 taxpayers that have been onboarded for the year ended June the 30th. KRA Director General Humphrey Watanga says the agency is banking on the ongoing tax policy reforms to hit its 3 trillion revenue target in the year 2023-2024.
task of raising 2.77 trillion shillings by June 2024 and surpassing the 3 trillion shillings mark by the financial year 2024-2025.
The authority aspires to implement best technology platforms to drive revenue mobilization by transforming into a highly digitized revenue administration.
To deliver on this, KRA is banking on ongoing tax reforms, among them the Taxation at Source program that includes, among others, the integration of the betting companies into the KRA tax system.
The integration has given KRA real-time access to all companies in the gaming and betting sector. This enabled KRA to collect Kenya shillings 15.19,
of which excise on betting registered 6.64 billion and 9.35 billion on withholding tax. The use of the electronic tax invoice management system is another avenue KRA initiative under the program, which allows KRA to collect information and revenue directly at the source of income on a real-time basis.
KRA is confident that it will achieve this target and enable the government finance its development agenda and sustain the country's economy.
During the period in review, a total of 95,732 VAT registered taxpayers onboarded, which led to remittances of 272.3 billion shillings. Watanga says KRA will also intensify demand notices and the debt installment plans agreed upon with taxpayers, which netted 64.6 billion shillings during the period in review, as well as enhanced uptake of the e-teams to aid in achieving its revenue target. Regina Manyara reporting for Lunchtime News.
The government is planning on introducing regulations that favor the local shipping industry in an effort to grow the economy of the country through the blue economy sector. The Cabinet Secretary for Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, Salim Vuria, said although the business has been taking around 90% of trade, Kenya's shipping sector still lags behind international shipping.
Due to the immense potential in the maritime transport, the government of Kenya identified the blue economy sector as a key pillar that will contribute to the country's economic growth. The government therefore plans to review cabotage regulations that would restrict the operation of the sea transport services within or into Kenya to those that complement Kenya's own transport services.
Already we have a maritime transport operators regulation, which has already gone through the process, and this will be able to open this business to local shipping lines, but it is not enough. So we are also venturing into cabotage regulations so that we can be able to open the shipping lines to local shipping lines.
The Cabinet Secretary has also announced the ministry will continue to provide support to the Kenya Maritime Authority so that it can deliver on its mandate. He further added that as part of the government's commitment to building capacity, the President gave a directive that the ministry train 2,000 coxswains free of charge. Meanwhile, plans are underway to host an international cabotage conference in November 2023 to bring together key industry players in Africa.
We will be having an international cabotage conference in November where we bring on board key players in the region and agree together that as Africa, as Kenya, we need to move that direction so that we can inspire the shipping lines here locally and other players who ply their business in the Indian Ocean.
Japanese conglomerate Toshiba has rolled out a data storage program dubbed Build Your Own Data Center that aims to equip businesses with the tools they need to adapt to a data-driven future while optimizing costs and performance. Toshiba Gulf FZE Vice President Santosh Vagesh says the move will allow enterprise clients enhance their business server storage systems and software through cloud storage capabilities while leveraging high-capacity hard drives.
As technology landscapes evolve each day,
Companies are faced with the critical decision of whether to migrate entirely to the cloud or continue maintaining on-premises data centers. While cloud adoption is still on the rise, many enterprises are finding value in balancing the two, a strategy known as a hybrid approach. To bridge this, Toshiba says it has incorporated a number of initiatives where channel partners and system integrators will be trained on how to use and integrate different technologies to build data center projects across Africa.
The research predicts by 2025, 180 zettabytes of data will be produced. That's because the way we work, the way we consume data, the way we produce data is all started changing from 2020. Right? We have telework, we have streaming of data to watch Netflix or Amazon Prime. So that is a big data generations. We have corporates using data for business decisions. So that's another thing.
Further, they say measures have been put in place to raise awareness and provide training opportunities to equip sales and pre-sales teams belonging to system integrators and enterprises with in-depth knowledge about enterprise-level storage, especially with regard to high-capacity, purpose-built hard drives.
You can keep on growing your data center as your demand grows. So this will help a total cost of reduction by 30%. When you buy a conventional data center, everything ready-made, rather than building it, Toshiba has got the components, got the technology, and we are creating an ecosystem where we teach system integrators and business providers, the IT business providers, how to create this data center.
Duta Mokami for Lunchtime News.
Now, China kept benchmark lending rates unchanged at a monthly fixing in line with expectations as fresh signs of economic stabilization and a weakening yuan reduced the need for immediate monetary easing. The steady LPR fixing follows the central bank's decision last week to roll over maturing medium-term policy loans and keep interest rates on those loans unchanged.
Recent economic data showed the world's second largest economy was finding its footing after a sharp slowdown, while yuan declines have reduced the urgency for authorities to aggressively lower interest rates to prop up growth. The one-year loan prime rate was kept at 3.45%, while the five-year loan prime rate was unchanged at 4.20%. Most new and outstanding loans in China are based on the one-year loan prime rate, while the five-year rate influences the pricing of mortgages. The steady loan prime rate fixings follow the central bank's decision last week to roll over maturing medium-term policy loans and keep the interest rate on those loans unchanged. Elsewhere, UK inflation surprised with a dip to 6.7% in August, below expectations and sparking increased bets on a pause in interest rate hikes from the Bank of England. On a monthly basis, the headline consumer price index rose by 0.3%. Economists expected the headline figure to come in at 7% annually and up 0.7% month-on-month, amid a slight uptick in prices at the pump. July saw a 6.8% annual rise and a 0.4% month-on-month decline. The largest downward contributions to the monthly change in the annual rates came from food, where prices rose by less in August 2023 than a year ago, and accommodation services, where prices can be volatile and fell in August 2023. Finally, Japan posted a trade deficit of $6.3 billion in August after the imposition of trade restrictions by China led to the biggest drop in food exports to the Asian neighbor in about 12 years. It was the second straight month of red ink for Japan as exports fell again in August, down 0.8% from a year earlier at 7.99 trillion yen. Despite robust auto shipments to the United States, imports fell 17.8% to 8.92 trillion yen, a year after energy imports surged. The latest data came amid concern about slowing overseas demand for Japanese products, particularly from major trading partner China. Total exports continued to decline in August, a month after they dropped for the first time in over 2 years. Firdaus Omar for Lunchtime News.
And back home, the Judicial Service Commission Vice Chairman Macharia Njue has urged Kenyans to have faith in the country's justice system. Njue says the judiciary is working overtime to keep the wheels of justice in motion and ensure there is no delay in service delivery. He was speaking in Murang'a County, where Kenyans challenged the judiciary to live up to the promise and ensure quick access to justice.
The Judicial Service Commission is aware, but we must also understand that matters of salary are fairly sensitive. A lot of times there are many issues that go into it. But the Judicial Service Commission is committed to ensuring that at least its staff, at any given time, all their welfare and the conditions of service are taken into consideration properly. That even as we are ensuring that there is no encroachment on the independence of the judiciary, and as we are fighting for their conditions of service and all other issues that relate to them, there has to also be accountability, because the public expects nothing less, which is why we have processes that we've put in place under the Constitution to ensure that accountability mechanism is there.
Let's now shift gears to matters sports, where Kenya National Rally Championship leader Jasmeet Chana wishes to end the 2023 Kenya National Rally Championship on a high note at the next month's 7th round in Illicit, Kajiado County. The rally driver, dubbed Iceman, lost the coveted Kenya National Rally Championship title to Karan Patel on home stretch last year, and is one of the few drivers in Kenya to win virtually all the lower tier championship titles.
Chana needs to get his mitts on the coveted title on the weekend of October 7th to 8th during the Kenya Motorsport Club round to finish 5th with at least 17 points that will hand him the unassailable point score with 2 events to spare. The Elite KNRC overall title is nevertheless what has been missing from his bucket list, but the Nairobi-based auto technician hopes to ruffle feathers in Bissell with his trusted Japanese mark. Chana goes into the 7th leg with a massive 84-point advantage over youngster Jeremiah Wahome, who has 87 points after 6 rounds. Chana and Wahome have 2 wins apiece, while Carl Tundo and Karan Patel have 1 each. If Iceman finishes 5th in the next leg, then he will have sealed the title with 188 points, which neither Wahome or third-placed Makrai Kimathi can surpass.
Finally, Manchester City began title defense of the UEFA Champions League with a 3-1 win over Red Star Belgrade. In other matches, Newcastle marked the return to the competition after a 20-year absence with the barren draw at AC Milan, while Barcelona comfortably beat Royal Antwerp 5-0.
Managed a goalless draw at San Siro Stadium against AC Milan as Nick Pope saved shots from Olivier Giroud and Theo Hernandez to hand what could prove to be a valuable point.
Clear Loftus-Cheek tried to help it back into the frame.